friends to tune in as we discuss topics that affect our well-being. The Wellbeing Show is proudly sponsored by NHS South London and Maudsley, the National Lottery Community Fund, and partnered with Real Insight, Base, 60 Seconds Creative Studio, and Gold Diggers Talk Show. Hi, my name is Miss Newlove and I'm one of the hosts of a brand new show brought to you by Bestel Foundation. The Wellbeing Show is to help reach BAME families, to help with mental health, support and emotional needs. The Wellbeing Show streams live every Tuesday at 8 to 9 p.m. on Diversity Radio via Facebook, YouTube and Mixcloud. So tell your family and friends to tune in as we discuss topics that affect our well-being. The Wellbeing Show is proudly sponsored by NHS South London and Maudsley, the National Lottery Community Fund, and partnered with Real Insight, Base, 60 Seconds Creative Studio, and Gold Diggers Talk Show. Everyone, and welcome to Bestel Foundation's The Wellbeing Show. It's the 2nd of August 2002, and today we have a very interesting topic, and the topic is how to cope with your children during the summer holidays. It's going to be an interesting conversation, and as usual I have my amazing co-host Miss Jacqueline Obeng. She's going to come on in a minute. Before she comes on, we have to acknowledge our sponsors, as we always do, who are South London and Maudsley NHS, also the National Lottery Community Fund. We're also partnered with Diversity Radio. We're streaming on Diversity Radio live now. 60 Seconds Creative Studios, also Base. I'm losing my tongue now. So yes, Base, become a successful entrepreneur. Jacqui is going to kill me. Become a successful entrepreneur. Base, which belongs to Jacqui, and she's going to talk about Base as we're in the summer holidays as well. It's very interesting that we understand what she does. And also Gold Diggers Talk Show, which is my very own talk show. So like I said, we're live on Diversity on Facebook and on YouTube. So please share this with your family and friends, and especially those who do have children, no matter what age they are. We're going to be discussing how to deal with them from, toddler up until their children, up until teenagers, and even some of us still have, young adults in the house. So how do we cope with our children during the summer holidays? It's going to be an interesting conversation. So as I said, my co-host Jacqui is with me as usual. And Hi. So she's here. Without her, I can't do this show. She's my anchor.
Likewise. Well, as long as I'm going to be talking on Base, you're going to tell us what's been happening with Gold Diggers as well. So we're going to leave, obviously, as we are sponsors of Bestel, and we're going to talk about Bestel as well. How's it been? It's been, 4 weeks since we met on live 2 weeks ago.
It's been a crazy summer already. I know. It's just beginning, but it's been good. We've been taking care of our social wellness, social well-being. It's nice. It's been a lovely. I mean, my summer holiday started in May. So yeah.
Right, and I saw you were in Accra. Do you want to briefly tell us about what happened in Accra?
I went to Ghana in May. Went to Ghana for 4 weeks, came back and went to Ghana again, because when I was there the first time, an opportunity arose, which I didn't know was going to happen, but that's how God does his things. And I had a meeting with the United Nations Association's Commission for Women's and Children Affairs in Accra.
Wow.
And after speaking to them on a few occasions, they asked me to become a Goodwill ambassador.
Fabulous.
Organization. And I came back to London and I went back for my swearing in. It's been quite an overwhelming 8 weeks.
I can imagine.
So went back to Accra for the swearing in, and so now I'm an ambassador.
Fabulous. How does it feel, Miss UN Ambassador?
It feels good. I mean, I feel like I've always been about women empowerment, especially, you know, women around my own age and older, because I feel like it's very important for us not to give up on our goals. And sometimes life can be stressful and overwhelming. And then, you know, we just tend to just, you know, forget about the dreams that we had when we were younger and focus more on being a mother and going to work. And, you know, we just go to uni, we get a job, and then sometimes we give up on, you know, the things that we really wanted to do before everything happened. And
exactly,
you know, I just got to a point in my life where I made a conscious decision that I want to really pursue my goals. I've done my best being a mother, you know. Well, I'm trying to be the best I can be as a mother.
Well, you're
you know,
fabulous, Mom.
I've worked for years. I've worked since I was 17. And I've been to
Wow.
uni, and you know, it's time that I start pursuing the things that I really want to do, because you get to a point in life where you become kind of frustrated when you're not actually doing what you love.
Exactly.
And you're just working to bring in money. You know, there's more to life than that. So since I've been on my own personal journey, I know that I've inspired others, especially women. Like I said, I'm really into empowering other women. And it, you know, so for me, it was just an opportunity that I couldn't say no to, because I'm learning more, especially about gender equality and, you know, just about the UN in general. I didn't know much about, you know, I had basic knowledge, but now it gives you opportunity to know more about what the United Nations associations do. And it's just nice to be able to work for Ghana, because I'm a British-born Ghanaian, and it gives me an opportunity to go to Ghana more often and learn more about my culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's all good.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess you're looking forward to, you know, a very busy year, working with women, working with young people, you know, trying to represent, you know, the Ghanaian community, the youth as well, and obviously everything else. So, well, good luck and congratulations, I should say.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, as you know, when you came back, we had the Ghana party in the park. Remember, we were going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Ghana party at the park, and then obviously the show. Obviously, we had technical issues, so we had to cancel the show. And there was actually, you know, two party in the parks. The Telemo one, which is the Ga community, which was really
okay. So can you explain that, because I didn't understand that.
Oh, the Telemo party in the park, it was really really huge this year. The first time I went was I think 2 years ago. These guys really bring sports together. It's like you know, a couple of guys bought the football team where you know they enjoy, you know, hanging out, showcasing, you know, their sort of middle age, showcasing their skills that they've got, and also try to bond with one another. And they turned it into, you know, a gathering, which was
really good. So it started as a football thing.
Yeah, initially it was like a weekly meeting for guys. So the Telemo Club is, you know, merely for men because it's a football thing, the football thing. And then when they celebrate, they've incorporated their culture. And obviously, I'm an Ashanti, but the Ga culture is quite an interesting one with obviously their dance, you know, their kenke and their banku and all these food. So it was really good. And now they've tried to showcase the Ghanaian products as well. And that's where I got on board, which is really good. So it's like a miniature of the Ghana party in the park, which was really, really good. So I hope that you will be there next year if you're not in Ghana.
Yeah, I heard about it. And I think my friend of mine hosted the very first one. And it was quite small, like you said.
Yeah.
So when I saw
this year it was really big.
Yeah, it looked
because
quite
we had
big.
Some ladies showcasing some cloths. I know you're our plus size model. There were these Ghana prints, which you would have loved. I was showcasing bays. There was a couple of people interested. The thing is, in businesses they're surprised as well. There was a gentleman called Francis. He's a chef
Okay.
as well. So where he's done his own shito, he's done a couple of, you know, food which he was trying to showcase. So it was really good. It was really
Yeah,
good
this
event.
year
As
there's
I
quite
said,
a lot of park events, because I noticed like the Nigerian Igbos had their own kind of party in the park.
right,
And I
right,
thought, wow, that's good, you know. And then I saw
right.
another, you know, there's been a lot going on, more than last
Mm,
year. So it's
mm,
good that, you know,
yeah,
the Black community in general are now,
yeah,
and I think because of COVID and everything, it gave people
yeah.
ideas to, you know,
Mm.
do more community
That's
events.
why last 2 weeks I wanted to discuss the post lockdown, how people have responded to, you know, coming out in crowds, meeting on the parks. You know,
Yeah.
obviously we were cooped in for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously meeting people and connecting with people is really good for our well-being, you know.
Definitely.
And I wanted to talk about that, but we didn't get a chance to. But hopefully we'll see, you know, if we can slot that in. Obviously, you were not here. We can fill you in about how Shatawale did a no-show there. We can give you the goss on that. But then obviously there were other artists there, which was
Yeah.
really
It
good.
looks
This
really
time,
good. It looked
yeah,
nice.
this
Yeah.
time as well, there were so many double the stakeholders that were there, you know, in terms of people sponsoring the Ghana party. It was really good to see. It was a massive success. And kudos to the Akwaba UK team. They did really well this year. And
They
as I
did.
said, we're going to leave a show for obviously post lockdown. But
Okay.
today, obviously, you've talked about how, you know, as parents, you know, deal with children during the summer holidays. But then
Yeah.
I'm going to give a brief introduction about Bestel. It's the
Okay.
Wellbeing Show brought by Bestel, Child and Adult Psychiatric Foundation. Bestel Foundation is a charitable organization registered both in the UK and in Ghana. Their aim is to address the stigma of the mental health within the Black African minority ethnic group, which is the BAME community, raising awareness, providing interventions, and supporting their well-being to the entire BAME community, obviously here and in Ghana. Obviously, you know, we've got a large staffing team, which you've gone through. We've got normal sponsors. We will be going into details of our team because it's been 4 weeks now. You're going to go through the whole staff, where we are supporting well-being issues through face-to-face visits with our, you know, with some of our, you know, our clients that we've got. We've got virtual supports, delivering food parcels, and obviously including the weekend. So Bestel Foundation, which is the catering group, or, you know, different sections of the workshop, we do work tirelessly trying to change or address the stigma within the community. In addition to that, obviously, before you went for your inauguration, you went for you know, the mental health, the workshop. Remember, you went to the Dementia Palace the last time. This October as well. Some of, you know, the best, they'll be privileged to go again to carry on addressing these, working with workshops like the prison services, the hospital, the military services, teaching, you know, and addressing all these, you know, awareness, and obviously everything else within the mental health services. So Bestel obviously is working very, very, you know, tiresomely, very hard just to address the community about how mental health is. So that is a bit of background about, you know, Bestel.
And I must say that when I went to Ghana and I saw, you know, what Stella does over there in person, it made me appreciate her even more, because it's not easy.
No.
And there's definitely a stigma about mental health in Ghana. And
definitely,
you know, I just realized how much hard work she's put in to starting this foundation. And it's a good thing. It's amazing. It's growing. And she's definitely been doing a lot, you know, a lot more than what we see.
Exactly.
You know, a lot more than what we see.
With the entire team as well. With
and
all
just
these
being able to handle all of us as well, she does well.
Yeah.
You know.
Alongside that, you know, she's tirelessly getting professionals across to Ghana to obviously demonstrate their skills, expertise, trying to transform and doing all these training, obviously, to better the healthcare services within Ghana.
Definitely. So as Jacqui said it all really, but just to, top it off and round it up, Bestel Child and Adult Psychiatric Foundation are committed to ensuring accessibility of their services via their website, their various social media platforms. And also, like she said, you can contact them, the team, anytime, if you need help. And our website and the numbers are going across the screen. We have Stella and Christabel and Hilda Marion on standby all the time. I'm not going to say all their numbers because, like I said, it's going across the screen. But this is the Wellbeing Show, and it's an interactive show. So we'd love you to interact with us and also let us know about things that you think should be discussed on the show. We'd really appreciate that, because it is for you guys, it is for the community. And once again, we'd like to acknowledge our sponsors who have been supporting Bestel from the beginning, and they are the South London and Maudsley NHS Trust and the National Lottery Community Fund. So as I mentioned in the beginning, our topic today is, also have to mention our partners once again, who are 60 Seconds Creative Studios, Diversity Radio. We're live on Diversity Radio now on Facebook and on YouTube. Base, Become a Successful Entrepreneur, which is CIC, I believe, started by our very own Jacqui. Can you briefly explain what Base is all about? Because you didn't before.
Right. So Become a Successful Entrepreneur is about startup business where we mentor young people, graduates, school leavers in terms of setting up their own businesses. Now, the whole idea was about changing the Black economy. And I don't want to go into details because we've got an interesting topic today.
Yes.
So it's basically mentoring young people, brainstorming their ideas, setting up or registering the business, helping them, assisting them with a business plan, working through if they need to acquire finance, if they've got, obviously young people wouldn't have any loans, but we can create a business plan to help apply for funding, whatever they're doing. Also, once we go through the funding, if they need any marketing strategies, we can help them with their marketing. So we see them through the project, basically. And like, as I said, the whole idea is about changing our young people's mindset. Once upon a time, we all, as you said, you've worked since you were 17. In this era now, obviously we've gone through the millennium, almost getting to the end. We've got young people owning businesses. And obviously the BAME community is quite, a big community where we're trying to enforce our young people to have that mindset in creating their own businesses, basically. So I'll leave it as that. And as you said, we'll talk about it. But then I'm just gonna put you on the spot. What's happening with gold digging?
Yeah, I'm asking myself that, but I'm working on things behind the scenes. So yes, Gold Digging is also a partner with the Wellbeing Show. And we have to acknowledge our patron, who is Mr. Peter Hassler. He's always tuning in. Just a big thank you for supporting us. Peter is a mental health specialist and a former NHS director for nursing. He's been involved with Bestel for 5 years now. He's a lovely, lovely, lovely man. And I see he's enjoying his summer, and he's always, with his children and with his family. So he seems to be coping very well.
Fabulous. He's looking after his well-being then, isn't it?
Definitely.
So let's just dwell into our discussion, because it's like half an hour already. We've been talking. Right. How to cope with children during the summer holidays. Yeah. So tell me about it.
Well, it's that time of the year, as we know, we're in the summer holidays. And I mean, this is something we're always trying to cope with our children all year round. But during the summer holidays, it can be quite stressful, especially financially draining as well. No matter how well you're doing financially, it does take a toll on your finances, because you have to spend more, you have to do more things. They eat more because they're obviously not eating at school. There's things to be done, and nothing is free. As they say in Ghana, there's no free lunch.
Yes.
So, but just because you know, you might not have the money. There's a lot of things you can do with your children that doesn't require you to dig deep into your pocket. And what's important is that it's about spending time with your children. And our children just want attention from us. That's what it boils down to. And they want to feel loved. So in whatever we're doing with them, that should be the main objective, is giving them attention and making them feel loved and getting to know them. Like during the lockdown, a lot of us got to know our children. Even, you know, we know our children, but we got to know our children more because we were with them. It was like a summer holidays for 2 years, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Literally. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the challenges that we face as parents during the summer holidays. And then we're also going to, you know, give you some tips and ideas of what you can do with your children during the summer holidays.
You're so right. Sometimes some of us are privileged to go away with our kids. Sometimes some people are not that privileged to go away with their kids. And growing up here in the UK, you know, with young people in school, when you go to school, kids, you know, will discuss, what did you do on your summer holidays? You know, some kids will say, oh, well, we went to Milan. Some people will say, oh, we went Disney World. You know, some kids will say, oh, we went France. And then it's quite awkward when your child hasn't got much to say. You know? And it does, you know, it gives them a bit of insecurities about themselves. You know? So it's really key that you try and boost your children in terms of, you know, their confidence. Even if they didn't go anywhere, there's so many things in the UK that we can do. That is something I want to address, because we barely go anywhere with us. The BAME, I can't talk about the whole BAME community, but majority of the Ghanaian communities, parents are always working. So we will get up in the morning, and then obviously we're off. We leave the kids at home. They are either watching TV or they're online playing games all day, you know, which is quite affects our well-being. It's a mental sort of strain on them. It doesn't look like they've had a break. They're having to have a respite because they're still in the same house. And it comes September and they're in this same house and they're going to school. They're waking up, you know, early in the morning. So it's a challenge. Believe it or not, it's a challenge. Now I can put myself an example. You know, most times this is the first August I have to spend in the UK because it was my birthday year, special one, and I wanted to go elsewhere. So I didn't go to Ghana this August. But then talking about it, when you're in Ghana, you tend to forget. All the kids are released. They see other kids. You know, they're enjoying us, you know. And, you know, when they're coming back, mentally, they're fully prepared for school. Because they've been away. You see what I mean? So it is key, you know, it's really key that they have some sort, even if it's at least 1 week or at least 2 weeks or at least 4 days outside the household. It does boost up their confidence a little. And obviously their mental state of mind that, oh, maybe we went, is it Butlins? Because years ago, I remember I took my kids Butlins.
To Butlins.
Butlins. We went to, is it Bognor Regis, they call it?
Bognor Regis, yes.
Bognor Regis is a lovely place. You know, we should have got pictures just to show. It's so nice. And there's one in Skegness. I don't know if you know the Skegness one. Skegness, there's another site, which is
they have I think they have more than one site now, isn't it?
So the Bognor Regis one is another area, where the Skegness is another one. You know, and for example, Alton Towers, you can just drive up there, probably 4 hours. You spend 2 or 3 days with the kids, and then you're back. Or Bournemouth,
Fort Park, Chessington. I mean,
exactly. So you don't have to go.
Things you can even do in London. You
don't have to go anywhere. There's Legoland. You can just go Slough for 2 days or 3 days and just come back. So it is really key that, you know, you do something, at least if you can't have the whole week off, because everybody is privileged to have that summer time off. So just try and have that bonding and that time, so that when they meet their peers in school, they can talk about, you know, where they've gone.
But there are some challenges that, especially living in Great Britain, that we face. when it comes to summer holidays, because I think this is like the first time in probably 2 years we've had great weather. So there's no excuse. But some summer holidays, the weather's not good.
Exactly. So the weather could be some. So, but then, you know, in the UK, maybe London will be raining, but somewhere like Scotland will be sunny. Or Wales. Exactly. Wales will be sunny, or Devon. So you can find somewhere within, you know, the UK to go to. Another thing that we can think about would be, you know, another challenge would be the food, meals cooking in the household.
It is an issue, you know.
I'm very lucky. I've only got 2 children, but you know, there's some families with at least 3 or 4 children.
Yes.
So, you know, food, you need to feed your kids. So I can't. What can we do? What do you reckon?
And it's also about the age. I think it's about the age group, because obviously if you have teenage children or you know, like ourselves, older children, I think it's easier because they can prepare their own, you know, what they want to eat, or they could get, you know, like you don't have to actually have food. But when they're younger, like 5, 6, 7, 8, those ages, you have to cook. You have to give them food, or the tantrums come, or, you know, because they're used to eating and they obviously can't make food themselves. So I think for the parents that have younger children, they find it more challenging because they have to cook constantly. I mean, they cook constantly anyway, but when the kids are at school, it gives you that breathing space. You don't have to do lunch. It's not easy to do breakfast. By the time you sit down and relax or whatever, then you have to do lunch. And then by the time you get over doing lunch, you now have to prepare dinner. You know, so it's like doing that for 6 weeks can be, you know, a struggle, and it can be expensive, especially now that, you know, we have inflation. It's, for me, I see the struggle on my pocket just by normal food, like when the kids were at college or school. So I can understand or relate to those that have younger children.
So again, in terms of cooking, most mothers will do like a diet list. So Monday, we're going to have, for example, jollof rice. Tuesday, we're going to have maybe lasagna. Wednesday, we're going to have mac and cheese. Thursday, we're going to have maybe rice and chicken stew. You know what? So it depending on what sort of diet.
Yeah, I used to do that when the kids were younger, but then they get fed up, and then they also change what they like. The cereals change, the foods that they want to eat change as well. So it's not easy, but that's a good way of doing things, because it worked for me at a certain point in my life, was having a menu that you stick to for the week, like you were saying just now. So you could have a menu, and when you stick to the menu, it subliminally makes the kids feel like they're eating different things every day, but they're actually eating the same thing for the whole summer.
Exactly. But then the whole summer is quite a long time, at least 5 weeks. So at that point, you need to actually invest into a proper diet for the kids, because they're going to be at home. You do. So this is where you need to really obviously stretch over your budget of how to keep them, you know, healthy and also fulfilled in terms of food, because you can't have your kids being at home and they're starving. Then what's the point of you know, working? You need to you know, look after your kids. Try thinking of creative things to do within the community. Again, I'm a traveler. I like to be exploring I'm an adventurous person, going all these places. But in the community, I think nowadays it's quite tricky for there to be stuff in the community, to be quite honest. Where I live, I haven't seen anything interesting in the community, but you need to probably explore. Because I remember back in the day when I first moved into the area, there used to be the snooker area. Remember? There used to be a pubs where, it's not a pub, like a young youth center where they can go and play snooker. Remember that? And
they've closed a lot of them down now.
They've closed a lot of them now. So it's quite tricky. So is the cinema was the only option, or the gym? So depending on how old your children are, again, it's all finance affiliated, that you need to have that money to support. Otherwise, it would be, again, Netflix at home or online with the young people.
But don't you think it's getting like that now? It's getting to like a point where we're doing so much in our houses, and the kids, because of all these gadgets, like you've got Netflix at your disposal, you have social media at your disposal. So it's even hard to get the kids out now, and from a certain age. I think when they're young, it's easy to get them out under 10. I think when they're over 10, it's like they want to be indoors and they want to be on the phone and they want to be watching films, and you know, so it's quite a tricky one. Like when it comes,
it's a very tricky one, because that is where, you know, you become I can't even remember the word, is it not being sociable with one another. Do you see what I mean? And being glued to the mobile, you know, or the TV, where you can just go out, and if these centers are still running, then obviously you can meet other people, you know, communicate with other people. You probably meet somebody about it, all these young youth, so that you can hang out with. It's not about going to find out friends, somebody who can help you, for example, or you can have a study buddy, or if you're, you know, an only child, because you can't be indoors by yourself, just glued to the mobile and glued to the, you know, the TV all the time, especially over the summer holidays.
And if parents are at home, like obviously some parents work, some parents are at home. If you notice this is what's happening, every 2 hours you have to engage with your children. You have to go into their room. What's, you know, are you okay? What's going on? What you doing? Try to communicate with your children, even though you're in the same house and it seems like, okay, everyone's in their room and you just want your peace. You still have to try and interact with them and break that.
Definitely need to interact.
Yeah. So that's something I'd advise as well. It's very important to.
There's a lot of christenings around this time, Christians or barbecues, you know, where we can drag the kids to.
Yeah,
or,
take
you know,
your
the
children
parks.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
when you're going out into the community to events, because we like to have all the, you know, if your children are over 10 and they're set, take them with you.
Exactly.
Let them see what you do out, you know, when you go out as well, and let people also know you have children. And
it's quite a challenge, you know, how to, you know, try to get them a routine, because obviously they'll get up in the morning, normal routine, they'll go to shower, go to school, they're off to work, you're back and forth. It's quite easy. But if they're, you know, not in school, they're at home, it's quite difficult. Leaving them to go to work, you'll be wondering, are they up? Then you're going to be checking on them. What are they doing? Have they popped out? You know, sometimes they don't even shower the whole day. You see what I mean? Because they're not going anywhere. All these are part of the challenges. What about the alternatives? What else?
And don't believe in your children at home if you know you're not supposed to be.
Sorry, what did you say? Don't do what?
I said, don't leave your children. You know, some people leave their children at home because they feel like, okay, they're old enough. I mean, they can, but you know, that's a risk. So try not to do that. You know, you have family, there's people around, you know, just ask. You can only ask people, you know, oh, maybe can so-and-so come over for the day or for the week every day, or, you know, just try to get the kids out of the house and, you know, let them spend time with their family as well, or their, you know, your friends. If that
one interesting thing I've seen here is in the community, people do not know who their uncle's children are.
This is what I wanted to do. That's why I put it there, because I really want to discuss
tell me about that, because I've got loads of stories to tell you about that.
Yeah, so upon doing some research, I thought to myself, you know, like alternatives of what to do with your children, because like we said, it's not everyone that has the money, it's not everyone that has the time. But what I realized as I was growing up, and even now, is that it's now that I'm getting to know who my family members are, extended families like cousins and aunties. And, you know, I've been going to places, and then you realize that, oh, that person is actually your family member. And I don't understand, like, as Ghanaians, we should be doing that from a young age. Our children should know who their cousins are. They should know who they're, and I'm talking about your real cousins, your real family, because it seems like, you know, your mum's friends, your mum's friends' children. Oh, my cousin, that's my cousin. Not that kind of cousin, you know, your real
real blood cousin.
Use the summer holidays as a parent, use the summer holidays as an opportunity for your children to get to know their family, if there's no issue, because we all have issues, but if there's no issue, allow your children to get to know their family, like their cousins, or, you know, spend time with their grandparents, you know, spend time with even their uncles and aunties, you know, because these relationships are very important. And it's what builds your children. It builds their confidence. It lets them know where they're from. Speak to your children about where they're from, like your hometowns in Ghana. Let your children know what tribes they're from.
I really like that one.
Yeah, let your children know what tribes they're from.
Sorry to interrupt you. My sister started our family tree, and it was so shocking to see. So yeah, carry on. You can set up a project in the house for the kids to start the family tree.
You'd be surprised that will take up the whole summer if every week you have discussions with your children about where you're from. You know, like, let them understand about the tribes in Ghana, like, because, you know, I think my son went out the other day and he said someone asked him where he was from, and he said he's from Accra. And I said, why did you say you're from Accra? You're not from Accra. Why did you say you're from Accra? And he was like, because I didn't know. And it made me realize that, but even though I've told them several times, you mustn't stop telling them, because they do forget. You got to remember, they're born and bred in the UK. So once in a while, you know, you have to remind your children where they're from. Okay, your dad is from here. I'm from here. So what does that make you? Oh, it makes you an Asante, or I'm half Ga, I'm half me. You know, like, let them know. And then also, it's an opportunity to also the language. I have issues with speaking Shi, but then I'm not going to say I'm going to blame my parents. I don't want to say that on, you know, I don't want to go that deep, but, you know, you can also encourage your children to learn basic Chi, and, you know, just learn more about the culture and understand who they are, because there's a saying that if you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going in life. So that's also something for them to go back to school and talk about with their friends. And, you know, like, you know, this summer I learned about my family history. I found out my grandma's from here, my mum's from here, this and that, you know, because it's so important. These kids, they're all going to Ghana. Half of them don't even know what village
they don't know anything. Exactly. They need to learn the culture. The culture is very important. That our young people understand. And again, during the summer, you can start these things. You can set them up.
You can just go into their room whilst they're on the phone.
Oh,
Tony, I want to talk to you today. He's going to roll his eyes. Dad, what do you want to talk about? I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you where I'm from.
Exactly.
And that's engagement. That's communication. Your child will go to get fulfilled, and it doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't. They've got the internet in the house, so it doesn't cost anything. I've just seen a couple of messages. Shanti's really into this. She said, get a map and show exactly where they're from.
That's it.
But then let's just acknowledge people. This JT, good evening. Peter's on there. Stella's on there. Who else is that? I think your cousin. Is this your blood cousin on there?
Yes, Alana.
Alana is on there. Kudos to your elbows, great cars. DD is on there. That's Doris is on there. Well done. We are not the community conscious anymore. Exactly. So yeah, thanks for acknowledging. Valerie, well done for acknowledging. Thank you so much for your support. So yeah, as you know, that point number 2 is very key. Very, very important, I'm afraid.
And that's not even just for Ghanaians. This is not just about Ghanaians. Like, it's about everybody. Like the Indian, they know, their children know where they're from.
Exactly.
They know everything to the roots, to the core. So we should. Do you understand? Like, we should tell our children as well. So whether you're South African, Zimbabwean, you know, I know a lady from Zimbabwe, she doesn't even know what tribe she's from, you know. Having that conversation with her, it made me quite sad, because I thought, at least I know where I'm from in Ghana, at least, you know. She was like, you know, I don't even know what tribe, I can't even remember. And I was like, we should know these things no matter what.
You should know these things, and believe it or not, knowing where your knowing your culture and your background, that's boost your confidence a great deal. You have no idea. I don't want to go through this route, but spiritually, it boosts you. You see what I mean? I can't explain it because I'm not, you know, I don't know how to say this, but it does. If you know where you're from, because our kids, as I think Shanti has just highlighted there, if you're not aware about your culture, you don't know where you're from, your parents are from, there's this disconnect, you know.
Okay, so Dee made it.
So yeah, is there a difference between your culture and feeling connected to your roots? Yes, there's a difference.
Is there a difference between knowing your culture and feeling connected to your roots?
Yes, there is. So the culture is knowing from where you're from and understanding what's going on within that clan. And the roots is going beyond where the generations. Do you see what I mean? So it looks like your screen's frozen, Miss Newlove.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm quite surprised because my internet's quite good.
Did you hear me?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
So what I was saying was the culture is about the whole Ghanaian culture, knowing about what the Accra lot do, the Gas do, what the Fantis do, knowing about, if you're a Fanti, what's the Fanti culture? Do you understand? So the culture will be their dance, their food, their language, you know, their outfits, you know, the whole culture that makes them the Fanti. Okay. And the roots are your generational background. That's your root. Who's your grandparent? Who are your great grandparents? That's your roots. So there is a big difference between those.
Yes, I think that you said it.
Hello. Okay, so I think your screen is still freezing, but I'm just going to move on to point 3, which is the dinner and lunch dates. So have obviously Friday night dinners.
Yeah,
Friday night dinners.
As we normally have dates with your children.
We do Chinese
and individually, like depending on how many children you have, it's good to spend time with them individually. Yeah, and not always do things together because your children are different. Even twins are different, you know. So it's good to have that time alone with them because they're all different and their mind works different. Their intelligence, their articulation, everything about them is different. So you want to know your children individually. Yeah. And it helps when you're advising them and, you know, when you're trying to direct them academically and all that kind of stuff. And to know who they are. Yeah. So, and it's not nice to always put them together like, oh, you two, because it's not always like that. They're individuals. So it's good to individual people. It's good to try, get to what know you're them saying alone. Is try and identify each child of who they are and try and treat them differently. I think that'll be something that we need to probably will go into because with us parents, we you know assume that they're all the same and then probably sanction them the same, which is quite unfairly treated by these kids. So yeah, as you're saying, try and identify who they are. Yeah, Shanti said it disconnects us from our kids, okay, and their beliefs. Yeah, it's good to understand your children, what they believe in too, because they're individuals and they have their own beliefs. It's quite interesting when you have those type of conversations with them, even though you don't agree and you're like, oh, whatever, but it's nice to understand their thoughts and views on things as well. Yeah. So that's number 4, give them mentally. So that's quite an interesting one as well. Giving tasks to your children over the summer or whatever time you're at home, that can challenge them. One could be finding the family history. You can do that research. You can prompt them to check where they are, or you know, what's the capital of maybe Zimbabwe, and they can just go and do that research. Or what is Lagos? How many states are there in Nigeria? Yes, they don't know these things because it could be a pop quiz, like a pop quiz. Yeah. Or how many states is there in Australia or America? Exactly. So just try and test them. And if you give a young child that task, it's going to take them the whole, depending on it's going to take them a long time to go and find out all the states in America. What's the difference between the states and what was it I was saying was it the states? Because each state's like a country. And then within the states, they have different towns, you know. So it's like, go and find out all these things and come back and let's discuss it. That would be an example anyway. But you can challenge your kids in any way you want to. They're your kids. You know their capabilities and you know their abilities. So
you can challenge them any way you feel that can obviously will affect them mentally, to obviously tease their ideas. One thing
and
I
you know
realize
what I
about
do? The trick that I do is when I want to find out something and I'm feeling lazy, I ask them, do you know this? And can you, okay, you tell me. Then they go do the research and come and tell me.
Which is a very good one, because they don't know, you know it. They think you don't know anything. That's how these kids are. They think we don't know anything. And when you challenge them, they're quite surprised. So it's really good. It's really good to challenge them most times. And it keeps them on their feet. I do it with my kids as well. You know, oh, you don't know this. I just pretend, oh, you don't know that. And they tell, yes, I do. And then I'll just throw in the question just to test their, test their memories. And one thing I wanted to say, these kids, right, because obviously I deal with them most times, they rely on calculators to do loads of maths. Where back in the day where we grew up, there was mental maths. Do you remember that? Yeah. You don't have to use a calculator. You need to do everything up there. And these kids do not know how to do these things. So again, you've got all these time at home. You can set all these mental challenges. Do that times table, especially the nine times table is quite a challenging one.
Even for me, it's a challenge, let alone
so, you can challenge these kids, the 9 times table, the 8 times table, the 7 times table, and I think G has just said that, the visual times table with more of the interest, yes. And don't forget to reward them as well, to get them
interested. Very important. That's very important, because rewarding them is what makes them happy and makes them feel loved and makes them feel, like you care. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It's just showing them that you care, You could even say, oh, here's £5, here's £10,
Baking as well. Another thing I realized during the last half term with our, the BAME community was, we went on several school trips. Yeah. If you're in school, I know all our kids are in school, and this applied to every child in school, because in the UK, by law, kids has to be in school. Now the challenge here is, I'm not an advanced swimmer, but I can swim, okay? But then most of the kids I realized could not swim.
Oh, that's
so swimming lessons is very key. It is. Over the summer, they can do it, because there were things like diving. We went on trips. There were, kayaking? So we went in a little kayak where we went on the lake. If you do not know how to swim, they won't let you go on it. And it was really upsetting to see the kids, some kids being upset, not being participating in that sort of an activity, which is a trip.
Can I ask you a question as your teacher? But obviously you're secondary school and sixth form teacher. So, but in primary school, don't they still give the free swimming lessons? Don't they still do the swimming lessons? Because that's how I actually learned how to swim. Right. I learned how to swim in primary school.
I can't remember, because I'm not a primary school teacher, but we will probably need to find that out. But I taught my kids how to swim through the local community. So we went to the leisure center, and obviously it was private. So we had to pay for the swimming. Yeah. But I do remember back in the day, there was like every day, every probably Thursday after school swimming for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I don't know if that service is still in the primary schools, but in secondary school, that's not there. Not most schools have got the swimming pool in the school, by the way. So that facility is not there. So you have to go out of your way to pay for these kids.
Oh, do you mean black kids? I think Shanti said, I think it's optional. Oh, it's not compulsory to learn how to swim.
It's not compulsory.
In our day, it was compulsory. I remember the only way you couldn't swim is if you're on your cycle. And that was obviously like year 6 when some of us started our cycle.
Right.
That's the only excuse we could give if we didn't want to swim. Apart from that, we had to go swimming.
It was compulsory.
Because it was like PE.
Exactly.
It was compulsory. But I don't know about now. That's what I was asking. But I know
so when I was probably need to find out. So next week, I've got not next week, on the 30th, I've got the Ghanaian Teachers Association coming on. So we'll probably put that question to them to find out if that facility is available for our young people. The reason I brought this up was if it was really upsetting to see some kids wanted to come on this kayak, but they didn't know how to swim. And these are A-level kids. I'm not in a primary school.
Oh,
and
so
we were really having fun on the lake, and they were just sitting there, even though their parents have paid for the trip.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
I mean, that me going swimming lessons in a primary school saved me, because last year I went to Mexico and we went snorkeling. Oh, and I had to dive into the water. And I was scared, and I know how to swim, but I still felt like I was going to drown. So I was, at that, when I came out, I was like, imagine if you can't swim, like this would really be horrible.
And it's quite, I wouldn't say a good thing to have, because everything is good to have. But then when you're on holiday, for example, you're in year 12, you're at uni, and you're going out with your friends to where you went, Maldives and Bali and all these places.
I wish I went to Maldives and Bali. No, I went to Mexico.
I think you went somewhere the last time, remember?
It was Mexico, not Maldives.
After you went, okay, Mexico, but then you were in the pool. I saw you with your swimsuit and all, and you can't swim. What's the point of wearing all of that? And then you feel bad because all your friends are dipping themselves and swimming and blah blah blah, and you can't enjoy the holiday.
So swimming's very important, and riding a bike. And the reason why I brought up riding a bike is because I don't know how to ride a bike.
Don't know how to? Oh my goodness!
No, I don't, and I really regret it, because now I'm at a point where I want to ride a bike, and it's good for exercise. These things are scary. It's scary falling off a bike, being heavy.
No, it's not. Are you scared? But you're able to swim. Not everyone.
Yeah, so at least I've learned how to swim. Yeah. So, but just to advise the parents that are listening, like, make sure that your children learn how to ride bikes. It's so important, because sometimes you think buying a bike is a waste of money. It's not, because when you get old to a certain age and you can't ride a bike, it even affects you balancing, like doing other sports. So riding bike and swimming, those are the two. If you've got nothing to do with the children in summer, at least buy them a bike, let them ride around every day. That's something. Or invest in the swimming,
And so obviously, baking could be one, doing so many other things.
Baking is very therapeutic, and it's a good way to engage your children, because even my son likes baking. I mean, I think male and female like cakes and food. So when it comes to cooking and baking, baking is a good one to get somebody out of their bedroom.
Yeah, but the most important is summertime. Believe it or not, the kids are home with you. I know we had a year or so with the kids at home, which was really stressful, but they're being back now for almost a year now. And this is the time you need to bond, with your children, get to know who they really are, their likes, their dislikes, what ticks them off, what are their weaknesses, what are their strengths, so you can build them up with all these confidence. So, let's try and support our young people. So at this point, we're just going to show them the video.
So this video is not so much about children, but it's just giving you a lot of things that you can do in London for free.
Okay.
So, I mean, you could pick up at least one or two things from there to do with your children, whether they're young or whether they're older. Even if they're young adults, there's a lot in this clip. So there's at least one place there that you'll get.
Great.
So I think it's quite a good one. So, if Big Joe
before the video comes up, I've seen Shanti put up there, stop dragging the children to funerals.
It's true. It's true. That's not an outing. And sewing, she's right. Sewing is something I really wish because I got into it and then I stopped. And now I really wish I learned how to sew, because it's such an important skill to have.
Well, she does a lot of sewing. You saw her stuff on
It's a online. Very good skill to have. I haven't seen nothing of Shanti, so you have to show me.
She's got lovely stuff. I think she should
maybe she can teach me, because it's my birthday a month from today, and I'm not going to say how old I am, but I feel like my life is just beginning, and there's things I want to learn. And one thing I really want to learn is how to sew.
Wow, cool.
I really want to learn how to sew.
Well, Shanti's got a sewing machine and everything in the household, so she does everything.
See, even me, I'm still a big kid, so.
Well, it's good. I'm the only
We're
one who
learning
wasn't
every
able
day,
to
aren't
do
we?
things.
And it's so important for our mental well-being to learn new things. And it's never too late. It's never too late to learn a new skill. It's never too late to do new things. And it's never too late to bond with your children. Some people actually think it's too late. Like,
no, it's never too late. So have we got the video ready?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous.
Is London an expensive place to visit? Yes, it is. But if you know where to look, there are free activities everywhere. And today, I'm going to talk you through 50 of them. So get ready because we're getting started right now. For a great introduction to the capital, start with a South Bank walk along the River Thames. It starts right opposite the historic Tower of London and takes you all the way to the London Eye and Houses of Parliament. And that's our second location. You can admire the Big Ben Clock Tower from the outside, but if you're a UK resident, you can also enter the Palace of Westminster for free. All you have to do is contact your local MP's office. They have limited numbers of free tickets for constituents. Next up, we have Tower Bridge. You currently need to pay £10.60 to go inside it, but crossing it is free and it's arguably even more beautiful from the outside. If you're interested, you can look up the times when the bridge opens, which is absolutely fascinating, and then go watch it then. Nearby, you will find Sky Garden. It's hard to believe, but this lush tropical rooftop garden is completely free. All you have to do is book your tickets in advance because spaces are limited. Number 5 is as British as it gets. It's the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, where the Queen resides. It takes place on certain days from 10:45 a.m. and lasts about 45 minutes. Our next category is parks. Did you know that London is the world's first national park city? Besides 8.9 million people, it's also home to 8.3 million trees and 14,000 different species of wildlife. Hyde Park is London's most famous green space. Don't miss Speaker's Corner, the beautiful Rose Garden in the summer, and Serpentine Lake. You can even go swimming in there, but the annual membership costs £20. Right next to Hyde Park, you will find Kensington Gardens, the setting of one of Jane Barrie's Peter Pan books, and home to the famous Albert Memorial. Richmond Park is very different to these two. It's a national nature reserve far from the busy city centre, and it's full of deer. And then there's Horniman Gardens. They're not widely known, even within London, but I think they're well worth a visit. You get great views of the London skyline, and there are alpacas. They also have 16 acres of gardens, a library, and a museum, but mostly, alpacas. If you're interested in learning more about London and my life here, I have been in the UK on and off for 10 years now, and I share loads of that content on my channel, so don't forget to, Our next category is markets. Food, furniture, flowers, the whole shebang. Portobello Road Market is one of my favorites, located in the colourful neighbourhood of Notting Hill, where you'll also find the annual Notting Hill Carnival put on by the local Caribbean community. But if you're hungry, I'd recommend the nearby Ackland Food Market, where you can get some really great international grub. My favourite are the arepas. Borough Market is probably the most famous food market in the capital. It's very central, just a short walkway from London Bridge and the Shard. There's been a market in this spot since at least the 12th century, making it one of London's oldest as well as biggest. But it doesn't have to be all about food. Columbia Road Flower Market is a great spot for fresh flowers, succulents, and just a bit of photography. It's only open on Sundays, so bear that in mind and get there as early as possible to avoid the crowds. If, like me, you love Harry Potter, Leadenhall Market might seem a little familiar. It was used as a filming location in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Look at it! The new Nimbus 2000!
Camden Market has a little bit of everything: art, music, vintage fashion, and of course, some great food. I have a bit of a soft spot for it because I used to live nearby, and it's right on Regent's Canal, and in my opinion, you just can't beat being right next to the water. While you're there, check out a shop called Cyberdog. I don't want to give anything away.
So these are just a few of the places that you could take your children to. Obviously, I didn't realize how long the video was. So I think what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste it into the chat. So if anyone wants to go and watch the video afterwards, they can. But like, trust me, there's so much places. When I watched it, I was like, wow, and it's all free.
It's
obviously
all free.
The food's not free, but
and it's very
educational
as well for young people. It's very educational because you have some case studies and they'll be mentioning all these places, and yet you don't know where they are.
So it's really important to, just go to the City of London. There's so much to do. Like, we live in such an amazing city, and then we're just stuck in our East London, our South London, or whatever. And even like you were saying, Docklands, there's so much to do. And you know what's really good to do with your kids if you don't like, you know, that boat ride, is it the Uber boat?
Where's that?
Not the, you know, you got, I didn't even know this. My friend enlightened me last year and I was like, really? So basically on the river, you know, like we have our underground and all that, Travel for London. You have Travel for London on the sea.
Is it the barge, you mean? The barge that goes around, the little barges?
No, it's a boat. It's an actual boat that goes from Greenwich.
I know there's one in Camden Town.
No, it's like the tube on the boat.
Right.
There's actual different lines on the boat where people go to work on the boats.
Whereabouts is this then?
You use your Oyster cards.
Oh, where's that? When did it come about?
Listen, last year I did not know. I was like, I live in London. I don't even know.
It was at the Camden Town only. I saw that at Camden Town.
Forget it. Doesn't even.
So where is it docking from? Where is it?
It starts from Greenwich and then it goes all the way to East. I can't remember. Is it South London or no, not South, because Greenwich is South East. So it goes all the way to East London. It's just like Transport for London on a boat, and a lot of people use it.
Well, I thought the Greenwich was closed.
There's different stops. There's Blackfriars. There's all these stops.
What, over the winter as well?
Yes.
Or is it just the summer?
Throughout the whole year.
A barge or a boat?
A boat. I'm telling you, a whole boat. Like,
honestly, all I know is the Camden Town one, but not the
no. This is like you're
landing underground on a boat.
No, it's like the Victoria line on a boat. So
how many Victoria lines are there? Boats?
No, it's just one line, but it's like, I'm just using Victoria line as an example.
Right.
So it's like a whole line on a boat. So you can commute to work and go to school on a boat as well. But if you
on different lines on the Victoria line.
No, it's you know, like the New Elizabeth line.
Yeah.
Basically, on the boat, there's a line.
Right.
And it's different stops. So if you live close to the riverside, you know, like if you live in Borough or Greenwich, you know, there's some towns along the riverside. People commute on a boat.
Right. Well, and we need to find that out. It's really amazing, Shanti's just said. Really amazing. Well, we're not into. Yeah.
And not only that, there's Uber on the river as well. There's Uber boats.
Well, we need to get the kids on there. Clearly, we haven't been on it. We need to get the kids on there.
You know what?
All I know is the badge. Sorry?
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Well, that's interesting. Because if it's, around the winter, that's quite tricky because it's very cold to be on the river on that boat.
But I went in winter on that boat and the boat heats up like a bus. It's like a bus on the river.
Nice one.
Like just go. You're going to be like, Eve, you're going to come back and thank me. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it.
I went on the Camden Town one. I know the Camden Town one, but I don't know the line one. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Are you aware with the Camden Town one? Do you know the Camden Town one?
No, but you went on like a boat trip, but this is actually...
No, it was actually from one end to another end. Don't you know Camden Town's got one?
Oh, okay, then Camden Town has one. Maybe
but it doesn't function anymore. It hasn't functioned for a long time.
No, this one functions. You use your Oyster card like you tap on, like you're going on the train. Yes. You stay there, you're laughing. Shanti, you take her, you lot go. You're going to be like, wow.
Well, that's something else. See, we need to find that out as well. Interesting.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
We're going to move on because our technician have to go. We've gone over our time.
Yes.
It's been fun. It's been really, really lovely, program. Very interactive. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, JT, Peter, Shanti, very interactive with us. Thank you. Your cousin Alana, well done. D, fabulous. D, fabulous. Who else is there? Thank you so much, Rosemary Abuba.
And Valerie. Yeah, you said Valerie. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Valerie. She said the river bus runs from Vauxhall too. Valerie.
From Vauxhall. Oh, thank you, Valerie.
It's a river bus.
We are not in the south. Okay.
Really good. Like, and they've even got shops on it. Like, you can buy food and stuff. It's serious,
Oh, Juliet. Juliet's also joined. Thanks, Juliet, for joining. So, Miss Newlove, take it over and let's Big Joe run off.
Yeah, well, it's been a great show, like you said.
It's been fabulous.
We've had quite an interesting discussion, and we just want to thank and remind our listeners, first of all, that we're not clinical staff, we're not specialists, we're just members of Bestel that have, taken time out to host this show. So we do have clinical professionals, and if you've been affected by anything we've discussed, or you want to speak to someone about, or you need support, like we said, you can contact members of Bestel team, Stella, Christabel, Miriam. They're there all the time to take your calls, and we have our professionals basically that deal with the mental health and the clinical side of things. So don't feel any way to contact. We've all had some sort of mental health issue. It's even depression and stress is mental health. So we all go through it. We've all been there. And then obviously if there's anybody that that you feel needs help in the community, Bestel are always there. And we'd like to thank our sponsors and partners once again. We'd like to thank our sponsors and our partners once again. And then, yes, and also Peter again, our patron. And just thank you guys for tuning in. We're here every 2 weeks.
We've had a lovely time with you guys. Thank you so much. It's been really insightful, interactive, educational. Bear in mind, these kids, they need us. They need us to build them. And we build them with love. We build them with bonding with them. And we build them with having the information, basically. They can't just come up with nothing. They need the information. They need to see all these places so they're confident when dealing with one another. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and have a good evening, guys.
Yeah, we're back on the 16th, so thank you.
Yeah, on the 16th, we've got DD on. DD is going to talk about Miss Malika or Miss Africa.
Miss Malika.
Or Miss Africa. D, correct me if I'm wrong. She's one of the contestants. She's got a fabulous charity, and that's supporting her. And Base is one of her sponsors as well. So we'll talk about her journey. The actual Miss Africa is in Manchester. So unfortunately, we won't be able to join her. But hopefully she'll send us a link in September for us to watch it. So, and we've also got the Ghanaian Teachers Association on the 30th.
Yes,
30th of August. And the 16th of August, we've got D. So tune in with us and listen to these amazing people. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Miss Newlove, and I'm one of the hosts of a brand new show brought to you by Bestel Foundation. The Wellbeing Show is to help reach BAME families, to help with mental health, support, and emotional needs. The Wellbeing Show streams live every Tuesday at 8 to 9 p.m. on Diversity Radio via Facebook, YouTube, and Mixcloud. So tell your family and friends to tune in as we discuss topics that affect our well-being. The Wellbeing Show is proudly sponsored by NHS South London and Maudsley, the National Lottery Community Fund, and partnered with Real Insight, Base, 60 Seconds Creative Studio, and Gold Diggers Talk Show.